And welcome back to Tight Sports. Welcome back to Tight Sports. I have been away for a while, but I've been digging, I've been researching, I've been meditating on this issue of the NIL changes that have to happen in order for the college football to survive. I mean, if you want to see it turn to the NFL, then you just go ahead and just come in with a salary cap. Now you can just dead that. Just kill the whole salary cap situation. Nobody wants a salary cap in college football because what happens is if you put a limitation on the money, and if you do it if you want to, put limitations on it, or want to pay this person more than others and put caps on teams and leagues, you're going to introduce the agents and the negotiations. And then come the holdouts. And nobody wants to deal with holdouts from a bunch of people that's 19, 20 years old. Okay? I mean, most of us, when you held out at 18 years old, you get punched in the throat. That's old school, public school, They don't do that these days. Not outside of my house. Anyway, so we can just stop that noise about the salary cap. That's not going to work anyway, because Pac-12 broke, y'all. They just broke. They can't help it. They broke and they ain't gonna change. So I think there's some suggestions that I would like to put out in the atmosphere that could be picked up by the NCAA or the conferences, and maybe they could try to implement these changes a little bit at a time. And just do something to slow down the madness, because it's crazy out there. But thanks to what happened, with Nick Saban retiring and what Prime has done in Colorado, good, bad, indifferent, whether you like it or not, and for the fact of Jim Harbaugh abandoning his children up there in Michigan, here's some things I think that we could clearly put in place to limit the impact of the portal. Just slow it. NIL, not really the NIL, but the portal. I ain't worried about the NIL. The money's going to be there. Eventually, millionaires will determine that, you know what? Giving a guy $8 million to go to a university I root for and don't own or get a profit from, that might not make a lot of sense. So NIL is going to handle itself. It's up here. It may go down. It'll level out. That ain't my money. But the portal definitely needs some changes. One change I would like to see is let's shorten the portal period. Why is the portal open for so doggone long? Hey, you don't want to be here? Holla, man. Hey, good luck to you, kid. See you on the gridiron. Or not. The portal should open right after your conference's championship. And it should be closed by the end of the year. That's about 3 weeks, I think, for most conferences. And another thing, like sitting around in January as a college student, no, man, your butt need to be in a physics class or a basket weaving class or a fishing class, whatever it is. Last time I looked, 2 to 3 years of college pays more than a high school diploma and definitely pays more than not having it at all. So why is this dude sitting here, when January rolls around, he's not even involved in anybody's college. He's just sitting there waiting on a deal. Or not. So, and if you want to stick yourself out there, stick yourself out there. And the coaches may not be that upset when you have to come back. Because, 21 days later, like, Coach, I ain't got no deal. Oh, okay. Go run the stadium about 177 times and then come holler back at me. Glad you're back. Why they gotta stay open for so long? And there needs to be a rolling portal period by sport. We lost a quarterback. Well, I would say it was a loss if we actually lost something, but we didn't. He decided to play lacrosse. I don't know when the lacrosse season is, but some of these sports are longer, shorter than others. Hey man, just let's have rolling periods depending on what sports you want to play. Not making it more difficult for people, but I'm pretty sure the golf team with their 4.5 scholarships at the FBS level They kind of like to know what they're dealing with going into the season, especially for school has to do half scholarships. They don't need people pulling up, I'm about to take my talents to the University of Miami to be a soccer player. Huh? But you said, huh? Well, Goya Beans is going to pay me some money and whatever. Rolling periods by sport. So if the football championship is in December and gymnastics period ends in January, I'm sorry, it's just two different, just so everybody can concentrate. I'm pretty sure the athletic departments at some schools are pulling their hair out trying to keep up with all the changes. It's too long. It needs to be shorter. The spring portal, which ain't nobody looking forward to. We had a lot of debate about, look how many players from this school in Alabama. The portal. Oh, wait a minute. Alabama win the portal. Okay, they shopping, they fishing, they landing whales, they killing it. Oh, high school recruits coming. Oh, Alabama's back. Come on, man. We ain't played one game. We don't know who's back. We don't know what's effective. The spring portal should only be open to a certain set of players. Fifth years, got a coaching change. Your coach decided to quit 2 weeks before Valentine's Day. Whatever. The NCAA sent a letter that says that, you can't give a player port rinds when they get off the bus. You didn't know that, and all this hundreds of thousands of dollars running around. You didn't know that. So now you're going on probation, medical red shirts. And I think this helps to breathe life into the JUCO transfer. High school recruiting, which is already pretty big, but a lot of people tell you, parents have told me their JUCO football player, they're redshirting. Especially the bigger the program, the more likely you're going to redshirt. Because they can't afford to just have people get there 1 year, play, and then go. So they use them as practice dummies. I should say practice squad members. And then, they play. But this brings life back into it. I'm tired of all the conversation about, this player is coming and now he's gone. And it really hurt Alabama, to be honest. 5 linemen left like in May last year. May or March or in the spring, they was out. But you go through the whole high school recruiting period thinking they're going to be there or they're committed or, locked in. So why do we have 2 of them? Unless you fall in these categories. And, coach knows if he has a medical red shirt, he's probably not playing. If there's a coaching change, then that new coach specs changes. And the 5th year, you kind of say, well, he could go over here, and they do need a guy who's going to play in a run-centric, pass-centric, hybrid offense that will probably get him or catapult him to the NFL. And we got Junior over here as a sophomore coming up, so bye-bye. But you're more prepared. It's about all teams being prepared, not just the University of Alabama. But let's give the other suckers a chance to compete as well. That's right, I call you suckers. Show up on the field, you must be a sucker trying to get with this. Anyway, and while we all about doing this, all this flippity floppity with these high school kids, man, let me tell you something. The fall signing period for high school students should only apply to students who are going to be on campus in December. All this, you can travel where you want to go. I ain't saying nothing about the visits. But I don't need your declaration, man. And we don't even know, there's a whole bunch of things that can happen. You may have a baby in the spring. You may do it. If you ain't graduating in December, I don't need to know where you're going to school. I just think that's crazy. If you got an early acceptance letter because you 6'9", you 6'9", 215 pounds in 3rd grade, and they just sent you a letter, that's fine. That's cool. But you should not be able to commit until you are weeks from graduation. I don't want to hear about it. Give them, I don't care if you double the number of trips they can make. I don't care. Person want to see Colorado, want to go to New Jersey and Rutgers, his great aunt over there, hollering at them. And then, he want to go to Hawaii. I know Hawaii is a little different situation. They really have to be careful with their trips. California, he want to do this, and then he decides he's going to go to school at the University of Ole Miss like his father or whatever. That's all well and good, but I do not need to know what a 17-year-old person is going to be doing 6 months from when they can actually do it. Just keep it to yourself, travel, enjoy it, get out of high school, get ready for the prom. But unless you're going to show up like a Julian Sands showed up at Alabama, now he's going to Ohio State, that's fine. I don't need to know what you're doing in the fall. Like, oh, we can get them early. No, February is early enough, in my opinion. All that flippity floppy they doing, they can save it for the tickety tockety. They can tickety tockety, they can Instagram, they can get on the Facebook with all that flipping around, do all the hat changes you want to do. I don't need to know about it. We're trying to run a business here in college football. All right, let's clean that up. The next section I want to go to is, now this is on the coach's side. This is on the team. We got to limit these pickups at the FBS level by sport. For instance, like I said, golf teams have 4.5 scholarships. Michigan State should not be able to go to Fresno State and pick up their whole doggone golf team. So it has to be done by sport. 4.5 scholarships, they may spread them around. There may be 2 guys that's full scholarship and everybody else is on a half. I don't know what the number is, but let's say a golf team usually has about 6 or 7 people on it. Should you be able to pick up 6 or 7 people at one time? And what happened to the rule about we gave you a scholarship, now we have to honor that scholarship, and it's a 4-year scholarship for the big programs, Power 5. We're going to honor that scholarship for 4 years.
What are you talking about?
If they leave and everything, I understand, but you got to limit the pickups. And what am I doing here? Pushing the focus back down to the high school players. Pushing the focus back down to the JUCO players. Just pushing it down. And when you take your butt down there to stick your butt in the portal for 3 weeks after the season, oh, you better be pretty sure of yourself. Or you better be knowing that the bridge behind you at University of whatever, it's over with. It's done. It's done. I can't go back there. They're not gonna play me. Coach told me this. Whatever. Campus security, the school too hard at Virginia Tech, whatever. When you stick your butt out there at the end of your conference championship and you got to December the 31st, please know it's not going to be billions and billions of positions over. A lot of the people going to Porter even end up going back or moving down anyway. Let's help these young ones make some rational decisions. You know when you hot as fish grease. I mean, Caleb Downs, who's to say Caleb Downs, depending on what happens to Ryan Day in 2 years, doesn't transfer to another school? Might he lead Ohio State in tackles? It's possible. Or be a team leader, maybe team captain for 2 years. And then he find out, if I go back in the portal, this X amount of dollars that I'm making right now possibly could be triple if I just stick my toe in the water. Obviously, he don't care where he played. You know, he didn't grow up. I was always cheering for the Crimson Tide ever since I was a little boy. He can still cheer for the Crimson Tide as an Ohio State player until they play each other. It don't matter no more. So I'm saying, let's limit these pickups because there's a lot of people that are, I call it like forsaking the dollar. A lot of people, most players do need to get an education. So maybe we can give them some things to balance. But, you know, in football, should you limit it to 15 players per team? 3 players for basketball, 2 for golf, so on and so forth? I mean, that would still possibly allow an FBS team to totally poach an FCS school. But, I mean, you do that, you may be putting yourself in a situation. There are some players of the FCS, heck, Division III, as we can see, We watch the pros long enough. NAIA, whatever. There are players at every level that can come up, but I don't think you want to bring the whole team up. But you never know. You never know. I don't know if you can really control that. But my third thing that I would do to control the portal situation, kind of the NIL thing, is we have to do something about the communication. How does a player find out that there's $600,000 and a track hawk waiting for him at Big Boy State? How does that conversation happen? I mean, the guy at Florida State, guy was on campus visiting. They say the line coach puts him in the car, takes him to the guy who determines who signs the check. Offensive line coach did not stay there for the meeting. And they saying that was inappropriate. Okay. I don't know if it was inappropriate because of the date it was done or what, but it just seems weird to me. But how do you find out? There's a track hawk waiting for you as soon as you come on down to blankety blank school. Had another case, is a state of Florida also, I think, where dude, he didn't get the money he was promised. Sounds like a silver suit to me. But how do we work all this out? Should there be open communications that should be monitored at least by the president's office of every university? If the collective is offering something to a student that's supposed to come there, somebody needs to see that, and it needs to be done in an appropriate time period. So I guess the process, it seems like you enter the portal, you get picked up, then you receive your terms. Bye-bye player, good luck to you. Welcome to Big Boy State. But I don't know if it's working like that. It seems like some improprieties do exist. So under my scenario, you have 21 days to take the leap, and they have to take a big chance because tampering just can't be violated. I mean, it can't be tolerated. That's going to be strictly prohibited. People going to do it. I know. People going to do it. But if you get caught, yeah, Big Mama, Auntie, Cousin Jim, Uncle Leroy, Auntie TT, if somebody say, well, you know, he was down there, yeah, I don't know what happened, investigation gonna come up. You gotta realize the NCAA, they ain't got nothing to do. They're just taking money, paying people. They need something to do. So let's give them something to do. If this tampering comes up, it's gonna be punished severely. Because if it's a 3-7, 1-5, 5-2 team that's playing their season, that player can't be touched. You can't talk to him. I don't want you talking to his mama. I don't want you talking to nobody. I don't want you engaging, right? You have to wait. You're just going to have to wait until the season's over. And it may seem weird or something, but no, that gives you 36 plus weeks to strike a deal or something, or whatever they do. Like I said, it really gives you about 21 days. Because I just don't believe that people are saying, I'm entering the portal, I'm taking this scholarship. Oh, I'm very happy with that collective deal for the next year. So I think tampering is going on, but they're going to have to crack down on it. Because some things might not even make sense. I think there are situations where people, because really, eventually, somebody's going to get into a situation where their money's going to go down. And that's when the kid's going to start screaming. And if that happens, NCAA should slam that program. So do it if you like. If you get caught, you may be facing 3 to 5 years postseason play. Scholarship ban is kind of useless unless they hit you in other areas. Since the football program did it, why can't we take it out against the men and women basketball team? Or just lessen the overall scholarships for the entire school? Because NIL money is so real, man. There got to be about 15 players on most of these top 25 teams that if you took their scholarship, you ain't saying nothing. They got the money to pay for it out of their pocket. So those are the reasons those are the suggestions I would make to make college football more, let's say, a happy place. Because let's just face it. Michigan will be all right. Alabama will definitely be all right. Some of y'all folks ain't gonna make it though. The way things are, you will fire a coach. You will lose players anyway. But when you fire your terrible coach to go hire a terrible alert coach, the team is done for. I'm talking about being set back for 5 to 10 years. And you better really think hard and long. If you barely broke 500 and you're firing a coach they're always building towards success. If he's been there 8 years, I get it. But if it's like 3 years, that next coach could be worse than the one you got now. So think about it. They may not know what they're doing. Who's to tell? But I tell you one thing, when you fire that horrible coach from your horrible program, your team's gonna be horrible. Making up words. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt. And I can tell you right now, how do I tell if my coach is not even close to the top tier? Read the articles. Search to replace Harbaugh. The search to replace Saban. First of all, if your coach didn't get a call, he is not top tier. That's the first thing. Nobody called him. If you the AD listening to the football coach's phone ring and he didn't get called, your coach might be garbage. Don't nobody want him. And then when the new coach gets hired at Alabama, gets hired at Michigan, and they still don't call your coach is awful. If you thought that your coach wasn't going to get hired, Mr. AD, or get called for the job at South or the job that came open at Michigan, Alabama, if your coach ain't getting no calls about job openings, your coach is garbage.
Straight mud.
If there are other job openings and your coach has not been contacted or called, nobody's called you, or the agent never contacted you to see if your coach was available for interview, that's your coach is horrible. And your team probably ain't going nowhere. So keep that in mind, Mr. AD. But those are the changes I would make, because some of these teams are gonna make it. Teams just not gonna make it. If you want to send a deal to somebody before the season start, that's fine, but they can't move till after the season. All this jumping the ship in April, man, I ain't trying to be funny. NFL can't even do that. Good gracious. They can trade people. And you can agree to a trade, blah, but it's hard to just lose 20-something people every year from December all the way through, March? That's crazy. Could be, with your graduates and the people you just don't want around there no more, as they call it. It's like, you don't even come back. So you could be losing like 30 to 45 players, and it just strings out so long from, December all the way, they reopen it up and all this stuff. No. I'm trying to look out for the lesser of these. Vandy can't even put up. They're not even gonna put up. What kind of product is Vandy gonna put on the field? What is Rutgers gonna do on? What is Austin P gonna do? They lose like 40 players. Do you want to see that? Even against everybody want an easy win, but golly. Ain't nobody trying to see no prison violence either out there on the football field. So that's all I got on that. I've been thinking about it for a while. Let me know below if you agree, disagree. If you have comments, that's just my little take on it. Maybe y'all got some other things y'all want to add to it. I've been thinking about this really before Coach Saban retired. And that's what I came up with, because Eventually, you gotta think not now. You gotta think about 10 years from now. Whoever's on top could be Kirby. They're gonna be monkey stomping about 70% of the teams that's even available. It's not gonna work the way it is. It's just not gonna work. People gonna be moving and they're gonna learn systems and that just you're gonna be firing coaches because you ain't got no players or your players are not good enough or the coach ain't good enough. It's just gonna be what they call it. We're gonna be in a perpetual loop of just terrible football play if this continues to happen. And that's all I got. And always remember, roll, tide, roll.